Thank you for joining us. There is some new information this midday about last night's deadly Metro Transit bus crash in Minneapolis. Metro Transit confirms the person who passed away is the driver of a passenger truck that collided with the bus. It happened around 10:30 at the intersection of Chicago Avenue and 25th Street East. At the time, the bus had passengers on board. 6 of them were hurt, but they are expected to be okay.
What we had here was a D-line bus, so these are buses that are up and down Chicago Avenue every 15 minutes most of the day and into the evening, and a really popular bus route, probably our most popular bus route, so it's not surprising that there were people on board.
Police believe the truck did not stop at a stop sign. The State Patrol is helping with crash reconstruction to figure out exactly what happened. Police in Brooklyn Park are investigating a double shooting that happened over the weekend. This was the scene shortly after our crews arrived. Officers found 2 men with gunshot wounds at the Autumn Ridge Apartments on Sunday morning. They were taken to the hospital, but there is no new information on their conditions, and so far no arrests have been made. There's also a homicide investigation in Savage. A man was found dead inside a home on Oakcrest Circle near the Credit River yesterday morning. Investigators don't know what led up to the incident, but they don't believe right now that there is any threat to the public. In just over an hour, the Minneapolis City Council is expected to approve a $145,000 workers' compensation deal for a controversial former police sergeant claiming he suffers from PTSD. 2 years ago, Andrew Battelle was caught on body camera video ordering his unit to fire rubber bullets at civilians during the unrest following George Floyd's murder. Jaleel Stallings was among the people shot at. He returned fire before realizing that those bullets were coming from the police. He was then beaten by members of Battelle's unit as he surrendered. Later, Battelle was caught lying about that incident. Minneapolis paid Stallings $1.2 million settlement, but Battelle remained on the force for 2 more years and never faced discipline. Since Floyd's murder, Minneapolis has paid out tens of millions of dollars to former Minneapolis police officers, most for PTSD. Ron Mauser represents most of them, telling KARE 11 in late 2021 that he expected to settle several of these per month over the next couple of years, totaling up to $35 million. Today, the Redwood County Sheriff's Office is asking people to search for this woman. Janine Jackson went missing with her dog on September 20th. Officers say they found her dog alive on Saturday, just west of Sanborn, near Cottonwood County. They began a coordinated volunteer search for the 81-year-old, but have had no luck. They're now asking hunters and farmers to keep an eye out for her. The warm weather continues with temps in the 80s, but about to be a big shift. Ben, you were talking to me about it in the newsroom. We're just going to take some steps going down, aren't we?
Yeah, pretty much every day, Rena. This is about as warm as the forecast gets, where once again we are going to see high temperatures skyrocket into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees, and then we're going to drop about 10 degrees every single day through the week. And you heard that right, 10 degrees every day. Already in the 80s right now this noon hour. 83 degrees is our current temperature, on our way into the upper 80s by this afternoon. A couple of isolated thunderstorms that have been dissipating over the last couple of hours north and east of St. Cloud, basically riding along Highway 23. And you can see most of these are fading. No more lightning and thunder, and we are forecast to stay totally dry here in the Twin Cities. Just plenty of this summer-like sunshine. Notice those temperatures. Wow, 87 by this afternoon, even 88 degrees by this afternoon. But again, big changes in the forecast. This is the season of transition after all. We'll talk about when 50s and even 40s are back in your forecast. Coming up, Rena.
All right, thank you, Ben. Well, right now, former President Donald Trump is in court for the first day of a civil trial against him and his sons. The New York Attorney General accused them of lying about the value of their properties. NBC's Jay Gray is outside the New York Supreme Court with what we know so far.
Hey there, and the former president made the trip from the campaign trail in Iowa here to the courthouse in Lower Manhattan for the beginning of this trial. The district attorney here in New York has accused Mr. Trump and his adult sons of inflating the value of their assets to secure favorable loan terms from banks here in New York. The district attorney says that it has been blatant for years. And before this trial even began, the Supreme Court judge who was overseeing the case last week ruled that Mr. Trump had persistently committed fraud and said that no trial was really needed to determine the veracity of the claims at the core of the lawsuit. The judge also imposing a heavy punishment, stripping the Trumps of control over their signature New York properties, a move that could could crush much of the businesses known as the Trump Organization. Mr. Trump, for his part, has said repeatedly that they've done nothing wrong in this case. Now, we don't expect to hear from him today. We do expect testimony from his two sons, and then perhaps tomorrow, certainly before the end of this trial, we do expect to hear testimony from the former president. That's the very latest here in New York as the trial gets underway. I'm Jay Gray. Now back to you.